thank you for joining with us. This is Matt, the Cowboy Viking, and we have another unboxing that we're going to be doing today. And let's get to it. Find out what's inside, what's in store for us this time on our channel. Well, they packaged it up really good. I haven't a clue. I don't want to take a peek at that. That kind of ruins the surprise. I have paper and something kind of heavy. Wow. How about that? It is a Viking Kettle. We're going to take a break, and before we head outside, I'm going to have to maybe make a run to the store, see what we can make inside of this. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. I wanted to give you a close-up of this Viking kettle so you can see the detail. It is made of very thick iron, all forged. Very intricate, very nice. Very attractive. All hand forged. This Viking kettle is an exact replica of one that was found in an ancient burial site in Norway. So we're going to be using our Viking kettle today on our Viking grill, and one of the things I like about this is the versatility. Well, we can kind of set it up in different configurations to do different styles of cooking on it. We're going to be making a soup today, a Viking period soup with some ingredients that would have been available to the Vikings back in the Viking Age. And we're going to try and use these stones here to contain our fire to go upward and heat our soup up. This is my Viking fire kit. I actually made this years ago, and as you can see, it's had plenty of use. And I actually made these out of a pair of deerskin pants that no longer fit me. And this pouch in here, which contains my fire steel and flint, this I did not make. This came along with the purchase of the fire steel, and the flint I found elsewhere. But anyways, we're going to get set up. I'm going to start this fire, and we'll bring you back in a bit. I actually had it lit, didn't even know it. Started to burn my hand a bit. One of the first things we're going to be adding today is ham. And interestingly enough, as I was doing research for the different types of foods that Vikings ate, I found out that they raised pork for the purpose of eating. And so this is a food that they definitely would have had on hand. They would eat quite a bit of, along with supplementing such things as, say, fish and reindeer, goat, cattle. They also had pigs. So we're going to start off our base with frying up some ham. This gets nice and brown. We'll go ahead and bring you guys back. Another thing that the Vikings had at their disposal to use in cooking was onions. We happen to be fortunate to have a couple of different varieties of onions. We're going to be using purple, yellow, and white onions. We'll just let those caramelize a bit, along with the ham that's browning. Let those flavors mingle together. We'll bring you back. The onions are not quite caramelized yet, but they're starting to break apart, and that's a good indicator that things are getting close when they start to break apart from one another instead of holding on to each other real tight, the rings that is. And to that we're going to be adding some mushrooms. Again, mushrooms were a popular food that the Vikings ate. Seems like in the last couple of years more and more information is coming forward about the different types of foods the Vikings ate, as more burial grounds are discovered and uncovered. And the Vikings, prominent people that were buried, they would include food items with them as well, and that gives us a good idea of what their diet included, besides what might be commonly thought of as maybe fish and reindeer. So in doing some research, one of the interesting things I found out about the Vikings is that their farm animals were not consumed like what the rest of the Western world does. To the Vikings, their farm animals were very important. They used their cattle to plow the fields, and also to fertilize the fields, whatnot. So things that were working animals were not considered as livestock like we would normally consider. So they got full use out of their animals before they ended up on the table, with the exception of perhaps a rooster or pigs, which were harvested again on a fairly regular basis. But cows and such were not done so until they got full use out of them. And we'll put a little bit of butter in there to help with the process of the mushrooms and the onions, along with the ham that's already in there. Let everything saute really good. Got another chunk of wood that I split to the fire. Keep that going nice and hot. Hopefully we'll bring you back. Okay, as you can see, the mushrooms are getting a nice color, and so are the onions. Starting to get caramelized very nicely. And one thing that I've learned, I'm not like a professional chef or anything, but I do like food. I do like to cook. And I'm sure there's many of you out there like me, you know, that as you use things, you kind of take note of what works, what doesn't, or at least try to. And one thing that I found is that if I add garlic in too soon, then I kind of lose a lot of that robust flavor of the garlic. And so I like adding it towards the middle, maybe. I guess in this case, this would be the middle of the soup. And we'll just kind of saute it a little bit to help it break down, but we don't want to break it down all the way. Obviously it's minced, so it won't take long. But I kind of want everything to have its own individual flavor, if that makes sense. So I want to kind of enhance the flavor of the onions and the ham and the mushrooms, but at the same time I don't want it to overpower it or lose any of its flavor in and of itself. So that's why, if you, for the most part, you know, there are exceptions to the rule. Usually if I'm making fish, I'll go ahead and add the garlic and onions pretty much together at the same time in the very beginning. But in something like this, I'll add it more to the middle, closer to the end maybe. Okay, we'll take a break and bring you back for our next ingredient. Don't go away. We'll be right back. So our next ingredient is goat's milk. And to that we're going to be adding a few spices. And I have with us some black pepper. We'll just add a couple of pinches. I like a lot of black pepper in my soup. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, let's just go ahead and add the rest of that. How does that sound? That looks pretty good to me. Give that a good stir. And I have a little bit of this is thyme, my wife says. I try to smell it, but the wind's blowing the scent away from me. And I don't see the other ingredients or the other seasonings. I need the basil and the oregano, please. And while she's going to go inside and get that for me, I'm going to put a pinch of salt. Norwegians were near the ocean, and so a lot of their recipes they would put moderate amount of salt. Some cultures tend to use a lot of salt, but the Norwegians, the Vikings, use moderate amounts of salt. And lastly, besides the seasonings, which I'm waiting on, we're going to take some fresh kale that we chopped up and stir that into our soup and let that all simmer. My wife has the basil and oregano for us. I actually came up with this recipe, I think it was sometime before Christmas, during the winter. And it came out so well that I thought, you know what, with our new Viking Kettle on our Viking grill, why not go with a recipe that works really well and contained all the things that our Norwegian Viking would have eaten back in the day. What do you guys think?
I think it looks nice.
You guys starting to get hungry?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Smells delicious.
It looks very delicious.
So normally when I'm out here cooking, I wear my cowboy era Levi jeans, which I still have on, and my cowboy boots, which I also still have on. But I thought to make a kind of a special festive occasion, I'd wear my Viking tunic along with some bracers, and I even have a 6-paneled Viking hat that I'm wearing, cloth hat. So we went a little bit cowboy, a little bit Viking today, and we appreciate you guys tuning in with us. We hope you enjoyed this episode. I want to encourage you guys to help us, help our channel, subscribe, and don't forget to leave us a comment below letting us know what you think of this meal, if this is something that you would like to try with your family, and also what do you think about the versatility of our grill. We have a windy day, and I was able to contain the fire and get things heated up to temperature, cooking really well. So if you like this type of thing, we hope you do. Don't forget to hit the notification button. We'll have many more videos in the near future coming forward. And as always, thank you again for all your help, your support, and we'll see you soon. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye. So we just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit and share some things from our heart my son and I, we have matching tunics, and we wanted to order a Viking dress for my wife, but it's on its way. It hasn't arrived yet. And you know, we all really enjoy history, and I think one of the most important things about history is not only trying to, boy, the wind's really blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really blowing. We're sorry about that.
And but you know, not just trying to read about history from a standpoint of having no bearing upon our lives today, but you know, trying to experience history, and you know, as though, you know, if we could travel back in time to the best of our ability, you know, not just try and understand, you know, the things that were happening back then, but to truly understand, you know, culture.
Right.
Would be to, you know, find out what type of things that they ate, you know, how they lived, what were their communities like, what was society like.
Yeah.
You know, the thing I like about Vikings and is not only were they great explorers, but they also were a very tight unity, family, you know, oriented, community oriented. They shared a lot of responsibilities from young to old and worked closely together with one another. And I think that's something in the Western culture that is kind of lost, and
That's lacking.
yeah, it is lacking.
It's very sad too.
Not so much with us. We kind of do everything together,
Yeah,
and
we're
Right.
together.
and help one another in every way. And even Megan and John, they're not here with us right now because they're, you know, doing their own thing, learning and growing and going to college and whatnot. But when they do come and visit us, or you know, when they were here at home, you know, we did so many things together, and you know, all that is part of building memories.
Right.
And you know, fond memories at that.
Relationship building.
Relationship building.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, wisdom building.
Exactly.
This young man over here, pretty wise for a youngster.
Yeah.
I think he does a better job talking than I do. But it's just a lot of fun, you know.
It really is.
Yeah, we're not, you know, dressed like the Vikings from head to toe, but you don't have to in order to, you know, the old saying is start somewhere, right? And how does that go about small beginnings?
Greatness from small beginnings.
Yeah, don't despise small beginnings.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, start somewhere. Unfortunately, my wife's dress isn't here, but you know, just get out there with what you have and experience history. You know, make it a little more personal. And I think when you do that, you know, it's fun, right, with kids?
It is very fun when you have other people to work with,
Yeah.
including us.
Of course, our family and our kids have been doing this for a long time, you know.
Right.
One of the first things we did, I happen to be, I like all periods of history, but, you know, Western, you know, Americana, the 1800s, during, you know, pre-Civil War, post-Civil War, not so much the Civil War. That was a bad time in history. You still have to learn about it. It's an important part of history, unfortunately.
It is very important.
But you know, we took the kids to a lot of quote-unquote, you know, ghost towns and things of that nature, and they were able to dress up as cowboys and cowgirls and
Calico.
and go to Calico and places like that. And but it's just a fun way to learn about history. So if you know, have children, or maybe your children are grown, you have grandchildren or whatever, and if you've never thought about, you know, doing something like this before, you know, we would encourage you, my wife and I, one thing we haven't done in the past is actually dressed up to go to a Renaissance fair or anything like that. You know, here in Arizona, we actually have Viking days, and so that was one of the things that encouraged us to build our Viking grill, because when we go to places like that, we don't just want to be spectators. Nothing wrong with being spectators. You learn a lot of things, and you certainly get to eat a lot of good food.
Yeah.
But we wanted to also be participants and as well, and make it perhaps maybe that much more meaningful.
Right.
That much more relationship bonding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, you can reach out to people and develop a relationship with people, and
Exactly.
and tell them what the things that you've researched, the things that you've learned, you know, in your quest to experience history.
Right.
And
Don't be afraid to ask any questions about that time period, because questions are what help bring forward answers about that time period.
absolutely, I think we spend a lot of time sitting around, don't we? You know, asking questions. You know,
Yeah.
you know, what do their houses look like?
How do they
food
live?
eat?
What kind of food do they eat? How do they
Right.
prepare their food, you know, during
Exactly.
the harsh winter times? Or, you know, of course, you know, here comes summer or spring, you know, and that was a time of celebration. And, you know, most of everything that they did during those good weather days was spent outside. So
Right. What kind of
Yeah.
games did they play and interactions did they have?
right, you know, imagine, you know, being cooped up. You know, I can certainly relate. Being disabled, wintertime is really harsh, you know, and I can't wait for things to warm up, and then we can go outside and you know, do things, participate in things.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyways, we hope that you enjoyed our video, and you know, let us know what you think. You know, what things do you look forward to you know, doing when you can head outside, or what are some of the challenges, you know, that you might be facing, you know, when you go outside, depending upon where you live, climate, or you know, MT Woods one. I'm just going to throw his name out there. He doesn't seem he's unstoppable. You know, he lives over in Montana. He could be, you know, freezing cold, 4 feet of snow, and he's out there trekking through it, you know,
Right.
in his young years. And you know, check out his channel. You'll know what I'm talking about. That guy is young at heart, young of mind, and young of body, and there's just, he, like I said, he's unstoppable. You know, he's more faithful than the mailman. But anyways, you know, some of us we're challenged, you know, and but we try to work, you know, make our way around those challenges. And if you happen to be in that category, you know, share with us, you know, some of the things that you've had to, you know, overcome, you know, financially or physically or mentally, spiritually, you know, to be able to enjoy life and continue on. That's what true survival is all about. So with that in mind, we'll sign off for now. Unless my wife, do you have anything to add to that, or
No, I
you'd like to
think we
share?
covered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'll just turn the mic over to her, and I'll keep quiet. So, but anyways, take care. God bless. We hope you join us soon, and please do us a favor, subscribe to our channel and share our channel. Invite your family and friends to subscribe to our channel as well. Bye-bye. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And it's been about 15-20 minutes. Why I spray painted this green.